Good news, Panther Nation. It is your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And happy Thursday to all of y'all, man. Hope y'all doing well. Hope you're doing fun. Hope you're really having a great day. And we get to go into a few things on today's docket and talk about one, the schedule release is set for today. So let's go ahead. And I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about the schedule release being today. I'm happy to know about it and finally see what weeks we play, what opponents. Apparently, it's already been confirmed. We are playing the Chicago Bears in week 1, man. So that's going to be a matchup of two of the last 3 former number 1 overall picks, and Bryce Young in 23 and Caleb Williams in 2024. So you know the storylines are going to write themselves there, and everything's going to look good going forward. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. We'll talk more about the release tomorrow itself. But I do want to talk about one thing that was brought up, and I was looking at an article on CBS Sports, and it was asked, and the article itself was saying, what is the one wish from each team in regarding their schedule release? So naturally, I had to see what the author of the article said for Carolina, what's their wish. And Brian DiArdo from CBS Sports, he said this. He's like, Carolina Panthers schedule wish early games versus cold weather road opponents. He's like, the Panthers face one of the league's toughest schedules, partly because of 4 road games against cold weather teams, including Green Bay. Carolina would undoubtedly prefer to get these games out of the way earlier in the season, especially Green Bay. Honestly, I can't say he's wrong. I can't say he's wrong. Sit there, and it's better to play these opponents. Like, if you were to play a Buffalo, a Green Bay, I'm thinking who else is up north that plays outside? New England. If you were to play a New England, if you're playing these teams, you don't want to play them in December at their home. If you have a road game in their stadium, you want those games to be in the summertime that you're used to, that you could have even at your own stadium. But if you're playing them on the road, you want those games early in the year. You do not want to have to go in there, an element they're used to, and having to play there. It's kind of like if Arizona had to play in Charlotte in December. And we all know Charlotte can get real cold, real wet, real rainy in that time frame. Hence how we played the Rams and whatnot, and the first Bucs game, and even the second Bucs game when we were down in Tampa playing in that same type of weather. It gets cold and wet, and Arizona, dry climate, they're not used to that. So if Arizona had to play us, they wouldn't want to play us in December. They'd want to play us at the beginning of the year like any other team. So I would agree with this. I would agree with this statement. I definitely would want Carolina to go ahead and get those out of the way. Also, because my birthday's at the beginning of the season, I would like to see some of those games. Like if they play in Cincinnati around September 29th, oh, I will be there. I will be there. Trust and believe. If they're playing Cincinnati that week, I will be there. Ripping, running, ready to rock and roll. But I think we're playing Cincinnati at home this year, so that's fine. If I had to recall, I think Cincinnati is the home game. Yep, Cincinnati is a home game, so I can still be there. No, ain't even no worries. But looking at the schedule, our road opponents: Cleveland, Green Bay, Philly, Pittsburgh. I'm not counting Minnesota because Minnesota plays in a dome, so that's not an issue. But Pittsburgh, Philly, Green Bay, and Cleveland, I would like those all completed by mid-October. I would like to get those just out of the way like that, personally. Personally, that's how I would like that to fall. So, makes sense to me when it's all said and done. But now, looking even more into the schedule release, and something we need to talk about is who is going to travel the most miles this upcoming season, man? And honestly, it's a pretty scary thought to think about it. Nobody wants to be the team that has to travel the most. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be the team that's got to travel all the way across Timbuktu over the ocean blue, like it, in 1492. You just don't want to. You just don't want to. So it was revealed that based off of road schedule and everything, so Bill Sparrows of Bookies.com, they put this on the NFL. They found out who's going to be the most traveled team and who's going to be the least. And sure enough, it turns out the Carolina Panthers are actually going to be the least traveled team. Yes, sir. So the San Francisco 49ers will travel the most miles this year, as San Francisco will have to travel a total of 38,105 miles this entire offseason. They measure it from basically stadium to stadium. So from 49ers Stadium to wherever their opponents, they did that. And for the Panthers, we are actually traveling the least this year with only 8,740 miles. And Jordan Dejani put it like this. He says, he's like, while the 49ers will travel the most miles in 2026, the Panthers will travel the fewest miles with 8,740. San Francisco travels 4.4 times as many miles in Carolina this year. The Panthers will make just 6 time zone changes and don't travel west of Minneapolis. It's a pretty nice benefit for the Panthers, who surprised many by clinching the NFC South last year for the first time since their last Super Bowl appearance with an 8-9 record. The Panthers kept up their momentum in the offseason, luring former Eagles pass rusher Jalen Phillips and Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd to Charlotte with lucrative contracts and free agency. This is a team that wants to continue to improve, and the league has handed the franchise a big bonus with a lax travel schedule. Honestly, man, that to me just. Hold up, wait, I just hit the jackpot. Hold up, wait, I just hit the jackpot. Hey, I usually don't like that song. I just hit the jackpot. There we go. Yeah, I didn't like that. My fault, y'all. I did not like that. But overall, considering the fact that we have we have one of the hardest schedules going into the year, to have the fewest miles traveled, I'm thankful. I will take the wins as I can get them. I'll be happy with the wins as they're provided. So to have the fewest miles traveled, and not only the NFC South but the entire league, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty great, because for our division alone, miles wise, it goes, the Saints will be traveling the most in the division with 21,892, followed by the Atlanta Falcons at 17,431. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 12,185, which is actually 29th in the league, and then us at 32 at 8,740. So, Cleveland Browns have the second fewest miles traveled, then the Bears, then Tampa. Interesting. Top 5 for most traveled is actually San Francisco, the Rams, Houston, Dallas, and then New England. Hey, not my problem. Not my problem. So I'm perfectly cool with this. I'm more than happy with it, and I'm extended. But now, lastly, do want to talk about one player that we do have on the team and going into this season, and is Bobby Brown III gonna be on the hot seat for 2026? Nani? That's a question that's being posed, and Ben Solak from ESPN actually says yes. Was it Solak? Yeah, Solak, not Polak. Solak is saying yes. And he's saying Bobby's actually kind of poised to lose his spot for the 26th season. And Ben writes like this. Says, Brown technically does not hit our. So when they did their little uh, criteria, one of them was 400 snap count. And they said that Brown technically does not hit our 400 snap cutoff. He only played 370 last season. But the Panthers signed him to a 3-year, $21 million contract in 2024 free agency, clearly with the intention of him stepping into a sizable defensive role. Ashawn Robinson kept him stuck in the rotation, but the Panthers released Robinson this offseason, so it seemed like Brown's role would grow. Then the Panthers drafted the mountainous Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech with the 49th pick, and there goes Brown's role again. Brown just does not have the range that modern defensive tackles need to create plays. He's late getting off blocks and struggles mightily when tasked with beating reach blocks laterally. He doesn't eat up the space a nose tackle needs to occupy to survive. Hunter has moments of remarkable first step quickness and upfield disruption for a player carrying 320 pounds, and he still has plenty of room to grow in his frame. Hunter, Derek Brown, and Deshaun Wharton will most certainly be the primary rotation of defensive tackles this season, with Brown once again struggling to see more than 40% of the snaps in a given game. Ugh. All I can say to that is, and I'm making that sound more so for Bobby Brown's sake, because if that's true, if that's the way he's going to go, he's more than likely going to be looked upon as a trade asset in a year or two. Because he said what? He signed to a 3-year deal in 2024 free agency. So before the 24 season. So he's 24, 25, and now this year's 26. Yeah. If he doesn't have a sizable role, I don't know if they re-sign him. If they do, it won't be to as much of a contract, obviously. But it sucks because you don't want that for Bobby Brown. You want him to have more of a role, but drafting Lee Hunter, and probably what's going to happen is Bobby Brown will have that spot for now, but if Lee Hunter just continues to impress and shoots through the roof throughout the offseason and everything, he'll be in that starting rotation. So Bobby Brown will be fighting with Turk for that final main rotational spot, and I don't foresee Bobby beating Turk. That's just me. But y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, and y'all can let me know. But that's how I see this going. But we're going to move all that, go into the Panther freeze frame of the day, and it is our boy Mitchell Evans with another picturesque Abbey Road-inspired photo. He had one like this last offseason, too, his rookie year. So he has another one. I like this. I'm going to see if I can go back and find it. And then I hope he continues this trend. Like, if he does it again next year, I'm going to be like, yo, each year Mitchell Evans does Abbey Road. It's like Mitchell Evans, Abbey Road, Volume 3. I think it's kind of cool. I like it. I like it a lot. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your favorite segment. Time for Panther Nation. To speak your truth, and that's where I read your comments and see what you lovely people got to say. And the first comment comes from Micah_Evans. Homie says, so here's my thoughts on Ekwonu. If we extend his contract, he will be right tackle. I'd rather have a great run blocker at tackle on the side that my quarterback can see, which then has Monroe guarding his blind side. Doesn't necessarily think that this means it's over for Ekwonu. Still excited to see what happens this season. That's fair. That's fair, Mike. I can see that. That's a fair point. I can see what you're saying there. Next comes from Goose Rider 864 says, "Oh, I love you and Locked On Panthers. Why they gotta throw shade?" Listen, I love Locked On Panthers too. I love what Julian's does over there. Julian's credentialed. He gets to do videos even with the Panther Stadium and things like that. I'm trying to get to where he is. So, Julian, if you're watching this, help me get to where you are, man. I'm trying to get to where you are. But, guys, if y'all see him or if y'all contact him or you talk to him often, please let him know. I'll have nothing but love and support for him. And I would love to get to his position and do some of these videos at Bank of America, do interviews with players like he does, and just get those media credentials. Like, I really want to get there and get in that process. Third comes from Big Axe 7823. Homie says, if you're divisional champs, you deserve a home game for that alone. It gives the fans something to feel, and a hit of playoff fever is contagious. Biggest example is our Panthers. Can't you feel the stir of energy? Like I said, I know some people don't like that a division champ automatically gets it, but I do understand that should be a perk. But I would also say if they went away or they took away the automatic home playoff, but you still get a playoff berth, I could see it. I wouldn't get rid of I still think division champ should get a home playoff game, but that's just me. And then lastly, comes from SC_ Panthers Boy 803 says, that's crazy. 6-10. Wow. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, it is all based upon the logic of division champs. And here's what I mean. As I said in yesterday's video, and as I said in yesterday's video, if you are playing for a division title, the division title should be determined only by what you do against your division opponents. What you do outside of your division should not have an impact on winning the division title unless it is a tie. And even then, it depends. Even then, the NFL even did this. The first tiebreaker they had was your head-to-head matchup against division opponents. They didn't even include outside record unless they had to. So to me, you should be able to go 6-10. You have to go 6-0 in your division. You go 6-0 in your division, you could lose the rest. But you go 6-0 in your division, you're the division champion. And we've seen this play out before where that year Tom Brady tore his ACL with New England, Miami Dolphins won the division, I think, on like a 9-7 record, whereas New England had actually finished 11-5, and that's how Matt Castle got paid. So it's not like having an overall record automatically guarantees it, but that's what I'm saying. You should be allowed. There should be a team. If there's a team that goes 6-10, but they go 6-0 in their division, they are division champs. They might not be great in the league, but they handled their division. And it didn't matter what. When it came to their division opponents, they are division champs. Now, as I also said, if you want to make this an easier process in terms of determining playoff teams, go ahead and not having this confusion as to why I can go 6-10 but still not be the division champ even though I went undefeated in my division. Go ahead and scrap divisions. Scrap divisions as a whole. Just go top 7 teams in each conference and do it that way. Because there's going to be a team that does this, and their argument is going to be they went undefeated 6-0 in their division, but people are going to say, well, you sucked outside of it. It doesn't matter. The whole purpose of a division and a division champ, not a conference champ, not none of that. Just your division. Just the 4 teams in that little section. Who's the best out of these 4 teams? Division-wise. That's what a division record should be. That's what a division championship should be based upon in my eyes. If that's not the case, if it has to be, you have to have a good division record and a good overall record, scrap divisions as a whole and just go off overall record. Just scrap the divisions as a whole and just solely go off overall record. And when it happens, I want y'all to come back to this video. I want y'all to come back to this pod and tell me I was right, that the confusion is going to cause issues. Because it's going to happen one day. And when it does, I'm going to sit there and be like, I told y'all, it creates confusion. So either A, you're going to have to allow it to happen because they went undefeated in their division, or B, you're just going to have to say divisions don't matter anymore. We got to scrap it in order for everything to make sense. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve, man. But Guys, gals, everybody in between. That's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. Next, comment below. Let me know, what are your thoughts about the schedule release? Are you excited tonight? What are you hoping for? 2, do you think it's cool that even though our strength of schedule is this hard, we are traveling the fewest miles this season? Do you think that's a benefit or a detriment to us? And 3, what do you think about Bobby Brown III? Do you think we keep him, or do you think he's going to be gone after this upcoming year? Do you think Lee Hunter is going to take his spot and he's not going to be in rotation? Let me know all that and everything else in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, y'all know the deal. What do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all the Panthers Nation. Take care. Later days. As always, keep pounding. I'll see y'all next time.